The Iraq War began on March 19, 2003, when President George W. Bush ordered the invasion to find and defuse weapons of mass destruction, or WMDs, that Saddam Hussein was rumored to possess. The war in Iraq was a war fought between American-led coalition forces and Iraq. George Bush called for an end to major combat operations on May 1, 2003, but American forces would remain in the country until the end of 2011. On April 9, 2003, Saddam's statue was toppled by Iraqi people and American military personnel. On May 29, 2003, Bush said that we found WMDs. On December 19, 2003, Saddam was captured after being on the run for 9 months. He was found in a hole in the ground across the river from the Great Palace he built. On October 7, 2004, Iraq was proven not to have WMDs, and Saddam Hussein did not possess stockpiles of illicit weapons at the time of the U.S. invasion in March 2003, a CIA report concluded. In November 2004 was the most deadly month in Iraq. 137 U.S. troops died. Here is an example of what the fighting was like for the troops. On November 8, 2005, powerful new evidence emerged that the United States dropped massive quantities of white phosphorus on the Iraqi city of Fallujah during the attack on the city in November 2004. Now here is some more information about white phosphorus in a demonstration.
WP, or white phosphorus, is often used against targets which can be destroyed by burning. The white phosphorus round, with a fuse quick or time, causes the contents of the shell to scatter and burn as it comes in contact with the air. This is very effective against vehicles, fuel or ammunition storage areas, and encampments. White phosphorus can also be used to block the enemy's vision.
On November 5, 2006, Saddam was sentenced to death by hanging by Iraqi officials. Iraq's tribunal found Saddam Hussein guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced him to hang for the 1982 killing of 148 Shiite in the city of Dougal. On December 30, 2006, Saddam was executed by hanging. On April 16, 2006, the death toll hit 3,300 for U.S. troops. On April 26, 2007, the Senate approved Iraq's withdrawal bill. On October 17, 2008, White House officials said that the United States and Iraq are nearing an agreement. We found an interview of a soldier from the war talking about his experience and opinion of the war.
How do you feel about the Iraq War? Was that just?
I didn't feel the Iraq War was just, because there was no reason why we went to Iraq. Pretty much we went to Iraq for very selfish reasons. There was no threat of Iraq at all.
Did you feel this way before enlisting, or was this after you had already enlisted?
This is after I already enlisted.
How'd you find that out?
I found out, because pretty much, like, most of our missions in Iraq were defending oil fields. We didn't, really, go to Iraq to, liberate the people, you know what I'm saying? We went to Iraq for monetary reasons. Pretty much, it's just the look of disbelief, I couldn't believe, this is really happening, oh my God, my friend is really dead, you know what I'm saying? You just get this suspensive disbelief for a few minutes, and then once you realize it becomes very somber, very sad.
All right, how do you feel the way the state of the military is now handling foreign affairs, like Libya?
I really got in touch with the Libya situation, but I our president, I mean, has, I mean, a very good supporter of the troops. I mean, compared to Bush, who really didn't care about us.
Why do you say that? What?
Why I say that?
Yeah.
I mean,
can you
pretty,
expound on that?
I mean, let me expand on that.
Talk about that.
I mean, but pretty much we went to Iraq for, I mean, it wasn't, I mean, we wanted to go to Iraq. We didn't need to go to Iraq to go to war. Pretty much like he sent, I mean, he sent us for like 8 years, pretty much for nothing. I mean, like once we got rid of Saddam, I mean, we spent the next 5 years doing nothing.
On March 9th, 2009, 12,000 U.S. troops are scheduled to leave Iraq. On March 16th, 2010, 8 people died in 2 bombings 5 minutes apart on the main street of an Iraqi town south of Baghdad. Just 9 days after an election Iraqis hoped would bring more stability and less sectarian conflict to the country. On August 31st, 2010, President Obama declared an end to the 7-year American combat mission in Iraq. He said that the United States has met its responsibility to that country and that it is now time to turn to more pressing problems at home. On December 18th, 2011, after almost 9 years, the last U.S. convoy of American forces withdraws out of Iraq, and here's a short clip of the last one leaving.
Yesterday was no ordinary Saturday for the soldiers in Iraq. It was the last Saturday in Iraq. For these, the last U.S. troops left here. By last night, the U.S. troop count in Iraq stood at several hundred, down from a high of 170,000 4 years ago.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say hello.
The top U.S. general in Iraq, Lloyd Austin, called the final drawdown the military's largest, most complex logistical undertaking since World War II. The final convoy rolled at 2:30 this morning. 30 vehicles, 130 MPs from the 3rd Brigade of the 1st Cavalry. Platoon leader Lieutenant Jennifer Farland drove in the second-to-last troop transport vehicle to leave the country.
A little overwhelming, but we're watching history in the making. It's going to be pretty magical when we cross the border.
A little more than 5 hours later, they had reached the border 160 miles away. Dawn was breaking. No ordinary Saturday night was becoming an historic Sunday morning.
Let's set the scene for you right now. We are paused just a couple of 100 yards from the border into Kuwait to let some vehicles in front of us go in first. These are the last vehicles of the U.S. convoy out of Iraq. These are the last soldiers who will actually cross over the border into Kuwait. You see a beautiful sunrise. It's coming up over the desert. And what's behind us? Absolutely nothing.
At 7:37 local time, the last U.S. armored vehicle crossed over. The mission went smoothly. No casualties, meaning the final number of American troops killed in Iraq will be 4,487. More than 30,000 were wounded, and more than 100,000 Iraqis are thought to be dead from war-related violence. Since the shock and awe beginnings of this war in March of 2003, the United States has spent more than $800 billion fighting in Iraq.